Back on HQ, and we can tell you the AP poll ain't gonna look the same. Seth Small drilling a 28-yard field goal to send number one home with the L. Unranked Texas A&M taking down the top-ranked Tide on a final second field goal, as that man right there becomes the first ever assistant to take down his former head man, Nick Saban. All right. 41-38 was your final as Zach Calzada, just a gutsy performance, 21 of 31. Gonna have some sore knees in the morning, but winning solves it all. 285, 3 touchdowns, 12 rush yards as well, and really just coming to play when his team needed it the most. After A&M had given up the lead, drives his team back down the field, scores the touchdown, then after a stop, gets his team in field goal range for the ultimate winner. Here to put the numbers next to the name, CBS Sports analyst Jerry Palm. JP, simply put, what do we do now as number one falls in Alabama to unranked Texas A&M? Take me through the ripple effects of this loss heard around college football.
Well, yeah, I mean, for example, in my college football playoff bowl projections, Alabama is not going to be there. That doesn't mean that they can't eventually get back there. But right now, you'd have to say that Georgia is the favorite in the SEC, and not only to just, win the SEC, but to go 13-0. And that would mean likely handing Alabama a second loss and knocking them out of college football playoff contention. Unless, of course, we have chaos and, we're halfway through the season and chaos we're seeing a little bit of that already. So, Alabama's got an uphill climb now just to get back into college football playoff contention. And let's face it, they haven't looked sharp. I mean, at times, obviously they have, but, at Florida, only a 2-point win there. At Texas A&M, now a loss. So, on the road, away from home, Alabama hasn't looked very sharp. So they may have more losses coming.
You can't count on much these days in college football. What you can count on, that is chaos. We'll see how everything gets mixed up here in the AP poll. We got to talk about winners here on Saturday as well. Some big results outside of this Alabama game as well. Who walks away feeling best about their case after Saturday?
Well, I think it's got to be Cincinnati. The group of five has never put a team in the college football playoff. That may have gotten easier for Cincinnati today. First of all, they took care of their own business. They beat a team that they should pound, and they pounded them 52-3. Cincinnati needs to look like a playoff team every time they take the field. So, and Notre Dame came back and beat Virginia Tech, and that's their best win, so they need Notre Dame to look good. But Alabama losing might mean we end up with a situation where the SEC does not have a one-loss team to possibly be a playoff contender. That would be huge for Cincinnati. If we get undefeated Georgia, undefeated Iowa, undefeated Oklahoma, and undefeated Cincinnati, there's a pretty good chance those are your 4 playoff teams.
Still plenty of pieces to fall in place here over the next 2 or so months. Obviously, Alabama here positioned as your biggest loser on Saturday night. As you take a look at the quality of loss, let's say, coming against an unranked opponent, how much does that hurt their ultimate resume?
Well, it doesn't really matter now. What's going to matter is how does the committee view Texas A&M when they start talking about Texas A&M, which isn't until next month. So the fact that they weren't ranked in the poll this week means absolutely nothing. If Texas A&M goes on to 10-2, that's going to look like a decent loss for Alabama. But for Alabama to get into the college football playoff discussion, they're going to have to win the SEC, and sit there at 12-1 on Selection Sunday. And I think anything less than that is probably going to see them outside of the playoffs.
Obviously going to be some major movement across the top 25 here on the heels of Saturday's results, the biggest of them being number one falling. Going to be a new number one. You could put Georgia there in Sharpie, at least for the time being, JP. What are some of the biggest moves you see in the upcoming top 25?
Well, other than Alabama dropping and Georgia becoming the new number one, Cincinnati is going to be in the top 4 of the AP poll this week. They could even be as high as 3 because Alabama lost ahead of them and Penn State, who was ranked directly ahead of them, lost. So the top 3 could be Georgia, Iowa, Cincinnati, and that's pretty high cotton for a group of 5 teams, certainly in the era of the college football playoff.
Nobody better. Jerry Palm breaking it all down here on CBS Sports HQ. Thank you, JP.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.